Hey, it's Eran here. So this tutorial has taken me a few days to record, and this will hopefully be the very last tutorial you'll ever have to watch regarding the tech integrations in System.io relating to the custom domain name and your professional email address. We're going to do everything, the DMARC records, the DNS records, and we're also going to just make sure that everything functions in the calendar feature, so all the email reminders are coming from the right email and all that good stuff. The domain name we're going to connect is DubaiRealEstateInvest.com, and the professional email address we're going to connect is Cynthia@DubaiRealEstateInvest.com. Bear in mind that creating the professional email address is going to be covered in a different tutorial, which you can check out on my channel somewhere around here as well. Hey, it's Eran here. Welcome to a tech tutorial on System.io domain and professional email address integration. This tutorial will hopefully be the very last one you'll have to watch on this topic. And before I actually show you the behind the scene of how to do all the integrations, I'm actually just going to show you the final result and the process you can expect as well. So first of all, when you hover over your profile picture and you click on settings, then you will be able to see a drop down. You'll see emails, and you should have, as one of the final steps, you should be able to see this thing right here where you have a domain name and it says verified. Now, further on, you're going to see a custom domain name. If you look under here, you'll click on settings, and then you will see under settings, you'll see custom domains, which is going to be right here. And then you will see your domain name right here as well, and it's going to say ready to use. What this means is that you can actually start using it. To go back to this picture, where you see, when you hover over here, you will see settings button, and then under settings, you'll go to emails. You're going to be able to see, as you look further down, you could see that this is the emails. You will see a few things. You will see that the domain name is verified once again right here. You will see that there are two email addresses that are verified in this particular case. One is this one right here, which is the one that is the sender email address, which is the same one here. And that particular email address, what that means is that you can actually send emails from that email address when you send calendar reminders, and that's all automated, when you send newsletters and all of that. Now, when you create an email, you might want to test it to see what it's going to look like. So you're going to see that I verified this email for testing purposes. So if you ever want to do a test email, that's what that's for. And all those steps are all going to be complete as part of this. When you first verify the domain name, there is something that a lot of people get really concerned and worried about. When you first connect the domain name, as you could see right here, this is what the custom domain section is. And when you connect it, the first thing you're actually going to see is this error page on the domain name. And you're going to might be worried. Now, when you see this, what you know is that you have what's known as propagation taking place. Domain name propagation. Now, what that means is the process, basically, it just is changing across the internet. It's not instant. It can take up to 24 hours. And so it's not instant, but that's what you're going to see. There is nothing to be worried about. That's just what is going to be visible when you first connect it. So it's not an instant process, which is also why this particular tutorial, it took me a few days to actually record. Once you've done the integration correctly and everything has propagated across the internet, you're going to see another page which causes alarm to a lot of people, which is what's known as an error page. But it's not really an error page. It's actually connected to system. You just haven't built anything yet. You're going to need to have a landing page or a sales page or a home page. And I will cover how to do that in a different tutorial, the next tutorial, once the integrations are done. You got to do the integrations first. Then your domain name will have this when you type it in to your browser. But then we can then work with that, basically. Additionally, when you want to also use the calendar feature, you want to connect Google Sheets, you want to have the information being pulled to Google, you're going to look, if you hover over here and look under settings and then integrations, which will be at the very bottom, there is an option to connect your Google account. So in our case, we connected Google Meet, so that when a calendar booking, there is a unique Google Meet link that's going to be generated. When somebody books a call, it automatically shows on your calendar. And also when somebody subscribes or buys, I can actually create a spreadsheet of that information if I so choose. This is something that I personally like to do in some cases, and you just want to do the integration. Now, in this particular tutorial, I showed you how to do the integration to Google Sheet, but it's the exact same process for Google Calendar and Google Meet. There's no difference. And of course, if you are using Zoom, that's okay too. You're just going to do the exact same process as you would with Google Meet. Finally, when you've done all the integrations correctly, you will see that when calendar bookings are done, you will see this email, which will come from the Google Calendar to, add it to the person's calendar when they book a call. There'll be a confirmation email coming from the correct email address, and all the automated rescheduling and cancellation and all those emails, everything will work perfectly fine. And all the emails are all automated on the back end because you have set up right here the correct sender email address. So that's what you can expect in this tutorial. I'm now going to share my screen and show you how to do all those integrations. I am logged into GoDaddy, which is where the domain name is, and I'm going to copy the URL. Now I'm going to go to the sub account. If you hover over here and you click here, and you'll see I've got the sub account. And now when I'm here, I'm clicking on settings, and then I click on custom domains. Now that I'm here, I'm going to click on add domain. I'm going to type in www. Paste in the full domain name. Now I'm going to click on save. Now you could see that the domain has been successfully added, and I've been given a few records. So I'm going to copy this record right here. And then I'm going to go back to GoDaddy. Now I'm going to click on DNS, and you will notice a few things. Number one, you're going to see that I have this CNAME right here, this CNAME right here. I'm just going to look to see if there's any other records of CNAME. Okay, so it looks like these are the only ones. So now I am going to add a new record. I'm going to choose a CNAME. I'm going to type in www, and I'm going to put in the value. I'm going to click on save. Now you will see that this conflicts with another record. That's okay. That's normal. It is this one right here because www, and this is just different. So I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to paste this like so. Now I'm going to click on save. It will update the record, and the DNS record has been successfully added, which is great. Now I'm going to add the next one, and this time I'm going to copy this entire thing without the domain name. Notice it says DubaiRealEstateInvest.com. I'm just going to take the first part. I'm going to paste this here, delete the dot. I may want the dot, we'll see in a moment. Then I'm going to copy this entire thing, paste this here, and I'm going to click on save. Updating the record. DNS record has been successfully added, which is great. So I've added this one, and we are good to go. The only thing I suspect I may need to also remove is this A record, which is the parked one. I'm just going to hold off on that one. I think, I'm just going to delete it. I'm pretty sure I need to delete it. So I'm just going to delete that one. Successfully deleted. And that's it. So now you can see that this one is pending validation. And if I click on show instructions, I can see the information again. Now, I assume now that I've done this domain should work, but because it's a bit early, it's not going to work straight away. So I'll just type it in. You'll see that it's actually not working, but I know the process. I know that this actually is what it's supposed to show right now. And so I know we're heading in the right direction. So now, while that's taking place, it is going to take some time to actually go through. I'll have to come back in a few hours. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to emails. And what I'm doing now is I'm basically wanting to verify the domain name and verify the email address. Now, to do that, I'm going to need to do two things. Number one, I'm going to need to verify the domain name first, and it'll be a very similar process. So I'm going to click here to authenticate. I'm going to paste in the domain name, click on save. Now you will notice that in this case, I don't put the www. I need to just delete this part and just do save. And now it says pending. Now I'm going to need to click on this icon right here. And there's a few things I need to do. So I'm going to go and click on add new record, choose a CNAME, and then I'm going to pick this one right here up until the dot. Paste this here, and then inbound.system.io. Click on save, updating the records, DNS successfully added. Excellent. Next one, do the CNAME again, go back, copy this URL like so, before the domain name, just up to here, paste this here, pick this one, save, successfully added. Do the next one, copy here, up to the dot, CNAME, paste this here, copy the value, click on save, updating DNS records, successfully added. Now I've got this one, TXT and DMARC. Now I believe I actually did that in the previous session. So let's just have a look. You can see this one right here. It's actually the same. Yeah, so this one is already been done with my VA. So that part is okay. He actually knew to do that. So I'm gonna X from here, and now it will say pending. The last thing I need to do is click on verify the email address. So again, we're gonna go and grab the URL, paste this here. As you may recall, we created this email address. So I'm gonna click on save. Email address has been added. And now we need to go to the professional email address and verify it. You should receive an email that looks exactly like this. And then you want to click here where it says right here and click on it. Once you've done that, you are going to see this page where it says successfully confirmed. You can now use your sender email address. Once that's done, you will notice that we have verified email addresses, Cynthia@DubaiRealEstateInvest.com, and it says pending. However, if I'm now going to refresh this page, you see that it says verified. Now, the reason you still see this, it's because the actual domain verification is still pending. And this could still take a little bit. So we just have to wait on that. One thing that we can do is you'll notice that this is a little bit different on the DMARC records. So we're going to go back to GoDaddy. And we are going to scroll down to the DMARC right here. We're going to click here. And then we're going to paste this thing right here. The only difference here is really just the mail to Cynthia something something. And we're going to click on save. It will say update records, successfully updated. The last thing you want to do is you want to add forwarding. What that means when you add forwarding is that when somebody types in DubaiRealEstateInvest.com, it will automatically go to the full domain name basically. And you want to do this one, HTTPS, add this information right here, keep it as permanent and click on save. Success, your forwarding change to be successfully saved. Now you'll see what it means when somebody types this in, it will automatically go to the full domain. Now the full domain is not yet live. You can see that if I paste this here, it's still not going to be live, but this might take a few hours and it will all be sorted. While we're waiting for the domain to be verified, I basically want to just go through all of these points right here and do the steps that are relevant. So first of all, we're not going to touch the display name or the first name or any of that. None of that's going to matter. In this particular account, we're actually not going to accept any payments, not going to send any invoices. It's purely for lead generation. In terms of the account information, the time zone, in this particular case, we're just going to leave it as it is. It really doesn't matter too much. The plan, it's still the same plan. We're not going to accept payments, so we don't have to connect any payments. There's no subscriptions. The emails, we are waiting to be verified. There's not going to be any courses, so it doesn't matter. There is no terms and conditions for payments, so that's irrelevant in this particular case. We may want to add tracking codes once you start running paid ads and stuff like that. For now, we will leave it blank for the moment. There's no shipping. There's no affiliate program. We don't need to worry about API keys or webhooks. Now, we do need to worry about integrations. A couple of points. First of all, Google Meet and Google Calendar integration is going to need to be done at Cynthia's end because she's the one whose Google Calendar and Google Meet is going to matter. And so what we're going to do, we're actually going to send her access right now. So now we've got assistance. We're going to click on invite and we're going to add the domain name like so. And we're going to do Cynthia@DubaiRealEstateInvest.com. We're going to click on invite. And then we will also change this to admin because I do want her to be able for her to see the names and the contacts. That's totally fine. Now, in terms of the integrations, she's not going to need access to Google Sheets. I will. And she's going to need to integrate Google Meet and Google Calendar. So I will walk her through that separately. So integrating Google Sheets, I'm going to click on this right here and then click on connect. I'm going to choose the correct email address. I'm going to click on continue. Check this, click on continue. And now you see that it says connected. Now, I'm not going to do anything with it yet. I know that I will need it for later and that will be in a different video. So that's about it. All the integrations are all done. And now we just have to wait for the domain name, this one, to be done and for this domain name to be verified as well, at which point you will be able to start sending emails. The other thing is on the sender. We're going to need to change this here. There you go. Testing is going to go here. Okay, so you'll notice that it says you need to authenticate the domain to be able to do this. So we actually have to wait for this step to be done. Now, in order to receive test emails, I need to verify this domain name. So I'm going to add that. I'll open my Gmail. Here is the email. I'm going to click here. It will say I'll need to confirm. It's successfully confirmed. Now, when I go back, I'm going to refresh. You will see that this email address is verified. This can be used for testing. And now I just need to wait until this domain name is done. So I'm recording this in a different day. We had some issues with the domain name propagating. And so I wrote to system support to clarify something because we were trying to basically send reminder emails using the calendar feature and it wasn't working. And we discovered that there was a small error in the DNS settings, which you saw a moment ago. And so in the next chapter of this video, I'll show you how we sorted it out and the support we got from System.io and how we can continue to proceed and finish off this integration. So you may recall that previously we had this domain name DubaiRealEstateInvest.com, but we connected. And you can see that now this page is actually an error page, but it's a System.io error page. Now that is a good sign. Even though this is an error page, this is exactly what we want. Now we will need to create a page for it, and we're going to probably create some sort of a wait list or something along these lines. But what we wanted to do is we set up a little page called calendar to try and basically check out the calendar feature to see how that's going to work. Now you can see that we set it up correctly and all that stuff, but when I went to test it, I noticed that the emails, the reminder emails, are coming from the wrong email address. They're coming from my email address, not Cynthia, the one we basically set it up for. And so I actually wrote to System.io to get help on this, and we figured out what's the issue. So basically, you see that we have some DNS issues that we haven't corrected properly. So you can see that there's some domain records we need to fix. So it says, upon checking your configuration, I see that all records have been added correctly. However, there are multiple entries for DMARC records, which has caused the authentication process to be pending. And so we're going to go to fix it in GoDaddy. We're going to go to DNS, and then we are going to basically fix those records. So here's the DNS records, and we're going to find the DMARC. So let's just make this 50 so we can see all the records in one page. We're going to search for the word DMARC. And you could see that there is this record and this record. And this is an identical record, basically. And it says, delete this one and keep this one. So you can see that this record is basically wrong. We need to just delete it. Delete record. And that's the instructions. Success. Once done, please allow some time. That's great. So now we just have to wait for that. But we also want to go back to System.io to change the email address. Let me show you what I mean. So now I am logged into settings. So you hover over settings and like here, and then go to emails, and you could see that the domain name is now verified. Now, there is a possibility if you went through the same thing that I did, you may have to do this again and click here and then type in the domain again. In my case, I don't obviously need to, so that's fine. But in my case, I did need to do that, but I didn't need to add any new settings. It just worked basically because it was already verified. So now that it's verified, the email address is verified. This email address is verified. The reason you see this right here is because you're never going to be able to send emails from a Gmail account anyway, so it's just going to have this little symbol. But this email is verified for testing purposes. And then, of course, we've got the domain name and the email address and so on. And now what this means is this sender email means that any professional email that's being sent, any marketing email, any default emails through the calendar feature is all going to be sent from this email address, which is what I wanted it to be. So now I did a test with a test email address, got the booking confirmation. I went to the fake email address that I did the test, and everything seems to be working correctly. The calendar invitation has come from her Gmail, which is what she connected with her Google Calendar in System.io. And also, this is the System.io automatic reminder emails, which is going to come from her name and the email address, and everything is set up, and it's coming from System.io perfectly fine. The reschedule and the cancel, those things are all automated. So if somebody clicks on reschedule, then the process is going to take place and they could reschedule the exact same process as anything else. So I'm going to click on reschedule. It's booking confirmed again. And then you'll notice if I'm going to go here, it's going to basically send me the reschedule once again as well, which is great. If they click yes, it will basically add it to the calendar. So that will work just fine. This is not a calendar, so you're not going to see it right here, but it will all work. The Google Calendar has been added. And now if I want to cancel as well, that's also another option. And this is a one-click cancellation, it looks like, but then it does say, do you want to usually want to cancel, and I click on confirm, and then it says booking has been canceled. So this is the process, just so you're aware on how that's going to work. I will also mention that this particular flow of the cancellation, I'm not a big fan of. I will write to System.io to encourage them to evolve it a little bit, so there's a little bit more customization. So maybe I could redirect them after cancellation, or have some sort of a video or something along these lines, just to make that a little bit more custom, just because I would prefer to do it that way. And also the page, it is very System.io look and feel. I would like to be able to customize it to my own page. But for now, it does the job, and no worries at all. This is a very, very minor use case that I would like to make it a little bit better. So I just wanted to make a note of that. Yeah, so that's that. Hope you got value from this particular tutorial. Bear in mind, this is just one of many other tools that I have on my channel. And what I would love for you to do is leave a comment below to let me know that you've successfully done all your integrations, or if you have additional questions, feel free to comment those below as well. If you want one-on-one help with doing all these integrations, then my team is available to be hired for a one-time fee, or we're happy to give it to you for free when you use my affiliate link to pay for a System.io paid plan. So all the information is going to be linked in the description. That's about it. Thanks a lot. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Cheers.